I'm Gab, he's Jules. Gray skies over West London, but that's okay because we're here to brighten up your day. Jules, we have a Premier League title race on our hand, a proper one. 3 teams and 3 points.
Yeah, it's the same last week.
Okay, but I wasn't here last Monday, so
it's like,
I got to point it out now.
That's true.
And we're going to get to that, but we're going to start somewhere else. As by the way, Xabi Alonso getting a win, staving off the people with the knives. Plenty going on. Bayern dropping points. How about that? New league leaders in Serie A. But we have to start with Mohamed Salah's farewell, whether temporary or permanent. Liverpool were playing Brighton. And let's not forget, while the Salah thing overshadowed everything, this is still a Liverpool team who are not doing well. They're not playing well. And they don't just have issues with Salah and up front, they have issues at the back, arguably at the fullback positions and so on. I wasn't surprised that he didn't start.
No, that was expected.
I was surprised that he came off on after 26 minutes when Joe Gomez, who started at right back.
Yeah, that's the...
That surprised you. Should we read anything?
No, it's just the injury, but...
It's totally normal.
Salah has to make him the first sub. Otherwise, he would have created even more chaos, problems, tension. So whenever that first sub was, this was so early because of the injury. Otherwise, that would have never happened. He didn't make it because there was no injuries. He made it because Joe Gomez was injured. So it was easy with Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones already on the pitch to bring on Salah. But he had to bring on Salah. There was no doubt.
See, I didn't read it that way. I have a completely different reading from you as we do on most things Salah. I actually thought if you bring him on this early, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to put this down. So he had a talk with Salah, right? Yeah. Finally, right? Supposedly they weren't talking, whatever. Salah was dropped for the midweek game. It was a club decision. I think it was inevitable given what came before that. But sending him on after 26 minutes, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. It could mean that you have to take him off later on if things don't go according to plan. You're only 1-0 up. It was an ideal. There's no Bradley. There's no Frimpong. But you did have other options. You could have brought in, dare I say, Federico Chiesa on the right and moved Szoboszlai. You could have brought on Andy Robertson to play right back. Not his flank, but he can do a job. He's done a job at center back. You could have moved Curtis Jones and maybe brought somebody else in. You did have other things. I thought it was a big call. And between the fact that Slot said he wants him to stay, between the fact that Van Dijk would later say he wanted him to stay, between the fact that they had a chat, I don't know. I'm wondering if the percent chance that he plays for Liverpool again has just increased.
Yeah, maybe. I thought Slot was very good in his pre-match and post-match press conference. Again, for the whole piece, like bring him on the first serve was also to buy that kind of piece. Not give more legs to the story, not inferior to anybody. He knew the reception would be great for Salah, and it was, and it deservedly as well, from that home crowd. And then it was a game where you also know it would be open, so you know that Salah wanted to play. He was going to play with a lot of energy and a lot of things to prove before going to AFCON. So it made a lot of sense. I think nobody knows what's going to happen in a month's time or 6 weeks' time, whether it stays or not. But I think in terms of, in a way, resolving this whole issue, Saturday was just the perfect way of doing it for now.
I'm coming around to the idea that in the end he's going to stay. And part of the reason, I can't put percentages on it, but a big part of the reason is nobody likes being wrong. If he doesn't stay, it's going to mean that he signed a new contract on April 11th. It's going to mean that they were wrong in extending the contract, and certainly 6 months at a huge wage. It's going to mean that Slot was wrong in thinking he was making it work. It was going to mean Salah was wrong in thinking he should stay, and it's going to mean that Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards were wrong too in believing it would work. I think there are ways to resolve this, and then there's the other aspect of if he was so keen on Saudi, why not move in the summer and there not be a transfer fee involved. So all these things coming together, the situation's evolving. There was a football match played as well.
Yeah.
Liverpool won. Ugo Ekitike, I thought, looked sharp.
Yeah.
Brighton, I thought, probably could have gotten something out of this game.
Yeah.
And those defensive issues, I think, are still there. All right, Jules, let's turn away from Salah for a minute. Well, actually, no. Let's stick with Salah for a second because this scoreline could have been bigger. And Salah was involved in some of that. Obviously, he had the assist to the goal, which I love how all of a sudden, because there's so many numbers nerds out there, we discover these new categories. And what was this? The Premier League record for goal involvements with one club?
Yeah.
Where he got the assist, so he moved ahead of Wayne Rooney.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Erling Haaland's going to own all these records if he doesn't leave Manchester City.
Surely, yeah.
But yeah, had you heard of this before today?
Yeah, it's like a lot of people like goal involvement.
No, I know goal involvements,
That's
but
what it is.
goal involvements with one club.
Well, yeah, as in, like, you look at it, it's pretty good to do. If you do it for the same club, 266, I think he's on or something like that. It's pretty, that shows the longevity, how good you've done for that club. You know, I had like no issues with that.
Okay, yeah. I think it's total fugazi nonsense, but we know he's been good for a long time with Liverpool. He had that chance at the end where he kind of snatched it, put it over. He had that other counter where the poor guy, like, I don't think he was expecting to see Virgil van Dijk. Like,
I mean,
next
Van
day.
Dijk and Robertson as well, of all people.
People forget that when Virgil van Dijk has those big, long, powerful legs, that once he gets moving, he can really, really motor up the pitch. Did you see anything in his performance other than a desire to do well?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the question is what we've said all along, is this team better without him than with him? Because the thing is, he wants to start every game. That's what he said to Slot. So if Slot says to him, listen, I can't guarantee you a starting start, that's when I think he start thinking about moving and go to a club where he will start every game. You might not be happy with Saudi, MLS, I don't know, whatever. But if Slot says to him, you've been on the bench the last 5 games in a row on the bench now. There's
well,
no
4 plus 1. Because he wasn't there in Milan.
Yeah. So, but sorry. 4 on the bench plus 1 missing. So 5 games in a row where there was no Salah in the starting lineup. Why would that change now? They've done pretty well in those 5 games without him. So for me, this is the whole thing. He was sharp. Of course, he was sharp. He wanted to show at Anfield the family was there, all of that. It might be his last game. You want to do well. 100% you play against a team that is a good team, but a very open team. You know, I think Brighton have kept 1 clean sheet in the whole season so far in the Premier League. So this is what they do. They give you a lot of space, a lot of time. They were probably better than Liverpool on Saturday. But overall, they're a team that just let you have chances. So that was good for him. Then play, let's say, against a 5-4-1, like a super defensive team. So that suited him. But I go back to the same point. Is this Liverpool team better without him than they are with him? And if that's the case, and I think, again, the last 5 games, to me, I love Mo Salah, but he's 33. He's not the future. If this team looks better or is better without him, then he's going to be benched again. And if he doesn't want to be benched, he has to leave. Otherwise, he's going to be on the bench and he's not going to be happy because he's going to be on the bench 2 games in a row and he's going to do the same thing that he did, stop in the mix zone, and we'll have this whole circus again. That's the thing. So, it looked good. Of course it looked good.
I just wonder if the setup that we saw from Liverpool in Milan, that, look, it's not just about him. It's about Wirtz, Kirkes, all these guys, right? How do you make it work? Florian Wirtz played on the left. There was no Cody Gakpo. At his moments, again, you're not getting the best of Florian Wirtz, not yet.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, could that diamond with the 2 strikers, could that be? I mean, we need 2 things. A, could that diamond with the 2 strikers be a way forward? B, if you let Salah go, your other center forward options are Ekitike, who's did very well in this game. Certainly, arguably, he's done better than any newcomer to Anfield this season, but it's still one guy. Isak, who's having an absolute nightmare and looks like a longer term project. If you think that diamond allows you to play not the way they played in Milan, but with Wirtz at the top of the diamond.
Yeah.
If then you can have 2 forwards, and obviously if you're going to play 1+2 up front, they need to move differently. They can't just stand next to each other, but they're going to go wide and whatever, and go short and long, all this stuff. Then you need probably 4 forwards to do it, especially when one is off form, as he said.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that might not be a way in. And what I like about that diamond is you can have Szoboszlai at the top of the diamond, or you can have Wirtz at the top of the diamond. You can have your 2 strikers. You have a role for Salah. It's not going to be every game, but it's going to be a role where his lack of defending is less of an issue.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if this isn't Slot's plan B or plan C in case Salah ends up staying.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure you can play in the front 2 personally. I don't
He's
think he
done it
would
before,
like it.
when he was younger.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd like it now. I think it's a very different style for him. I think Slot loves the 4 midfielders, whoever they are, between Jones, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Wirtz. But I think he will also be very pragmatic in his tactical approach to games, front 2, the 4-3-3, the 4-2-3-1. I think they have that much talent that they can play in so many different ways depending on the opposition or who is fit or who is in form, all of that. But I think more and more those 4 midfielders are the key to balance, key to control, and I'm just not sure if Salah fits in that kind of model. So this is it. But again, I think if he's ready to be on the bench sometimes because he doesn't fit the tactics or the game plan for that game, no problem. But I don't think he would be happy with that.
4 midfielders also means that if one of them is Szoboszlai, he's not playing right back, which then means you have to get a tune out of Bradley and Frimpong when he returns.
Yeah.
And obviously left back, Robertson and Kirkes very much up and down. I thought Kirkes was certainly defensively, he's limited right now.
Yeah.
Although weirdly, that's not even the biggest problem in Liverpool's defense. And we have to touch upon it. I thought Konate again. I don't know what's going on with him, if it's mental or whatever.
Yeah. I just thought.
Do you have any insight in Konate and why he's performing like this?
Yeah, I mean, he was very good against Inter Milan and everybody was very happy. I didn't think it was that bad on Saturday. It's just, I think if one of your fullbacks is struggling, and especially if you don't have Joe Gomez next to him, and he came off after, as we said, 20 minutes, it becomes more difficult for Konate. Minte was, I thought, outstanding, and that's why Liverpool like him so much, and why he's right on the short list in case Salah goes, and they would sign a right winger if Salah goes anyway.
But Federico Chiesa sitting here saying, "What about me? I'm here too."
And he came on, to be fair, he came on and did well, I thought, and was very kind to Salah to give him that ball at the end that he blasted over the bar. But yeah, I think it's a question of maybe not so much individual between Konate and Van Dijk and Kirkes and Robertson and whoever's right back. Is that just as a whole, as a back 5, even with Alisson, they're just all struggling.
A word on Brighton. I thought this would be the year that they would consolidate. But I don't get that sense. I get the sense that this is still a team where you don't quite know what you're going to get week to week. And I get a sense that some big players over the course of the season, certainly Baleba is the obvious one, have kind of gone backwards, even as others have come in. Like Gruda's done well, better than I thought he would. Is this just the nature of the club?
I think it's the nature of Hutzler. I was at the Everton game where they were all of them should have won 4-1 and then ended up losing that game. I don't know even how. They clearly lack efficiency in the 2 boxes, which is, I think, obviously a problem. But they play some really good football at times, and I think Hutzler want them to be super attacking. The problem is then your defense is a bit struggling. You've got 2 super attacking fullbacks. That leaves Van Hecker, who I think is outstanding, and then Lewis Dunk, who's our age almost, as centre backs, which I think it would be difficult for anybody. And I'm not sure about the balance of that team. But on Saturday, you could play that game again, and they win 3-2, and there's no debate, and it's a great win for them. The problem is they didn't win because they didn't score their chances. I mean, Gomez has 2 huge chances to score, and that changes the game. So I feel a little bit for Hutzler because I think there's a lot of really good things that team does, but also it's probably a little bit too attacking for them, the result that they're going to have. But they're going to finish top 10, I think.
I wonder with the centre backs, because it seems slightly... I can see their point that they set pieces, Premier League, so you want sort of bigger, more athletic centre backs, even though Dunk is older. But equally, the way they play and with the way the fullbacks play, a lot of times it feels like those guys are stuck in space
Yeah,
and have to
yeah.
defend wide areas, which when you're the size of Lewis Dunk, it's not always an easy thing to do.
Nah, sure.
You know, I almost wonder if we could arrange a swap, Van Hecke for, no, not Kubarsi, obviously, but a Kubarsi type.
Yeah.
If that wouldn't be a better blend, you know, that kind of more mobile. Because because the way they play, like so often they're caught in those areas.
Yeah, they're exposed a bit. Yeah, for sure.
All right, enough Liverpool, enough Salah, until maybe after the AFCON. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Erling Haaland makes it 23-23 in all competitions with 2 goals, and Manchester City win 3-0 away to Crystal Palace. Jules, there's 2 points back, but so we have to take them seriously.
Yeah, of course.
But does it matter that they were second best in this game in both shots and expected goals?
Yeah, I mean, they were just second best, I thought, pretty much through the whole game, certainly in the first half. Palace were great.
Can I give you a stat to support your first half thing?
Yeah.
City had 70% possession and 2 shots.
Yeah, 1 free kick over the bar.
And the other one, the Holland goal.
Yeah.
Hey, how does that happen?
Yeah, they were just not good. I think they looked tired. There was no Jeremy Doku, who I think sometimes when you're not playing well and you're not maybe on a good day, just give him the ball and he makes something happen. Probably more in a direct way than Cherki and Foden can do, certainly more than Reinders and Bernardo Silva. So I was not too convinced by the way this midfield 4 was structured anyway in the 4-1-4-1. But they find a way. And I think when you can put a ball like this to Erling Haaland's head, then you 1-0 up, and then if from a Palace point of view to go at the break a goal down when you've been so good, so better in a way. I know he didn't have much of the ball, but still must be so heartbreaking that I don't think you recover from it anyway. The second half was easier for City. You have to win those games even when you're not the best, when you're not playing that great. They did, and I thought Haaland again was just a machine. Well, for the little he had. Yeah. Really to do. Three
touches in the box, 2 goals.
2 goals. 2 shots on target.
Glazer said Palace played better than they did in the FA Cup final. And I really thought it was a question of moments. Foden, obviously Haaland, Ryan Cherki had his moments too.
Yeah.
I just wonder, the whole control, blah blah blah, chances that's out the window. And I think, if the opposition defend and are organized and sit, until Ryan Cherki becomes Kevin De Bruyne, which he might soon, they're not going to create the volume of chances they used to before. But maybe they don't need to.
And let Rodrigo goal gives Real Madrid a 2-1 win away at Alaves. Gab, the knives were out for Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, and in terms of performance, they should still be out. This is not a good performance. This was a thing where, cheat code Mbappe. And then after the equalizer, they kind of raised their level a little bit to score a second goal. But I think what you saw, though, and you saw this in the City game too, you saw a reaction from the players. I think the players don't want Xabi Alonso to move on. And I wonder, because all those stories about Arbeloa, those are all very well-sourced stories from people who are very close to Florentino.
Yeah.
And it seems so stupid to even think about ditching Xabi Alonso right now for Florentino when you still have, for Arbeloa, right? It's one thing if you say, hey, look, Zinedine Zidane's coming back for, third time lucky, right?
Yeah.
Or Ancelotti's going to go and do both jobs. And look, we can still win the 4th thing. But you've got 4 things at stake. You do not have a better chance of winning them with Arbeloa. Arbeloa means reset and think of next season.
Yeah.
So that would have made no sense. I wonder if Florentino, in his infinite wisdom, said, hey, let me put these rumors out, see if it motivates the players a little bit.
Yeah.
And if so, job done. Wild stuff at the Emirates. Jules, Gabriel Jesus makes his first league appearance in more than 11 months and plays a huge part in getting Arsenal a big win over Wolves. Jesus saves.
Yeah, well, he kind of, yeah.
Well, if he wasn't there, there's no own goal. So I'm going to give him credit for it.
Yeah, sure. Arsenal's worst performance of the season. I was there. A terrible game of football. I mean, Wolves are a bad team, like one of the worst I've seen in a very long time. Arsenal were not good at all on the night. Just lacked urgency, just lacked everything, basically. And they looked tired and they conceded a very weird, avoidable goal, like they did in the 91st minute or so. And then you thought, okay, they've dropped 2 points. This is really bad. And then they found a way somehow of winning. I think you need to win games like that sometimes. to do well and maybe win trophies, etc., etc. But this was pretty bad from them. So good to see Gabriel Jesus back. He was back in midweek in the Champions League too. But let's hope for Arsenal and Arsenal fans and Mikel Arteta and the players that this is like the only time this season that they will play that badly.
This explains why he rested guys in midweek. He obviously saw this stuff coming.
Yeah, but they were still very tired. Hincapié started at left back because he can't play centre back anymore. The guy that went from playing no games at all to 7 games in 20 days as centre backs. Even against a team like Wolves, he put him at left back because he was not in form enough. But then because of injuries again, he had to move him back. And at the end, they shattered the last 20 minutes or so. So I'm not sure this is a week off for everyone, which I think a lot of managers will welcome and players. But this was quite worrying, I thought. Takes a late penalty won and converted by Harry Kane for Bayern to avoid defeat at home to bottom of the table Mainz. Gab, what went wrong?
I don't think this is that deep in terms of over-analysis. They had 4.24 expected goals. They created a ton of chances against a team that went there, set up to defend, and they didn't take them. And when you don't take them, you find yourself in that situation. That guy Pulaski, who gave away the penalty, also scored a goal. Leonard Carl scoring again.
Yeah.
It's a bit special, a bit exciting. And then, the shirt pull on Kane leaves you no choice. I don't think you're concerned about the record. I don't think you should be concerned about the record. You're 9 points clear at the top of the table. Move on, and soon you'll have your break. Jules, we're not done. We have more quick hits.
Yes.
Rafinha scores twice, and Barcelona defeat Osasuna 2-0. Jules, I'm guessing you will say you're not impressed.
It was one of those games again where they were so superior to the opposition. I think the expected goal is super high. I thought Lamine looked great again. But they don't take many of those chances. It's the goals that you score. I mean, the first one is in transition. Okay, great. The second one, you'll be lucky. And defensively, you look a bit shaky at times. Obviously, again, for the same reason that we mention all the time. So
they got very lucky with the disallowed goal because it could have been 1-1 because the guy gets pushed into Joan Garcia by Eric Garcia.
In his mask. But they were still they're still superior to Osasuna without a problem. But it's just they're not easy wins for them.
It won't surprise people who deal in stereotypes that Osasuna's coach is Italian and set up with the super catenaccio to end all super catenaccios.
Chelsea rolled past Everton 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. So Gab, why is Maresca so grumpy and talking about the worst 48 hours of his life since joining the club?
I have an idea, but this is a memo to Maresca. And look, I thought you played reasonably well. Everton a tough out. By the way, the guy O'Brien, I was at the game. The guy O'Brien, the guy who was at Lyon last year,
2 years ago.
He's enormous.
Yeah,
I never seen him in person, but he looks like a
back really.
He looks like a tight end in football. But he's got like big arms, big head, and he moves pretty well.
He's a decent player.
But when you go out and you say somebody's not supporting me, this is the worst 48 hours. If you don't want to name them, you have to do it in such a way that everybody understands WTF you're talking about. Here, what is it? Is it the players? Is it the fans? Is it Todd Bowley? Is it Bedard? Is it all these things? And this just leads to more speculation. Some people might feel targeted as a result. I mean, he specified, no, the fans are great. But then again, I don't know. Are you being sarcastic? I don't know, right? So this is not good communication. And so you do so many things well. You normally communicate well.
Yeah.
This is not one of those examples. Aston Villa come from behind twice away to West Ham as Morgan Rogers bags 2 goals. Second one I thought magnificent. They win 3-2 and go up to third in the table. 9 wins on the bounce in all competition. 10 wins in their last 11 in the league. Jules, I'm going to come out and say it because you know my thoughts on Unai Emery. He looks like a vampire. This is voodoo. How are they so good?
Yeah, I mean, they're not, if you looked at all the expected
underlying metrics,
underlying metrics, they're not that good. But they certainly are winning all those games. And in this game, they were behind twice, came back every time. They've got a decent squad, so they've got options off the bench. He rotates really well between Europe and the league. And they've got, I think, this amazing momentum and confidence that carries them even when they're not playing well. Like, they didn't play well yesterday at all. But they found a way, and they won again, man.
So Victor Lindelof, he made an appearance yesterday. I remembered who that was. But so obviously in the summer, they brought in 10 players over the summer.
Yeah.
The one who's played the most in the league is Guesson. and he ranks 14th for minutes played.
Yeah,
means he's doing it. He's taking the guys he had before and made them better.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
Nottingham Forest destroyed Tottenham 3-0. Gab, another setback for the man with the 2 first names.
Yeah, and I'm getting a little bit tired of this. And you can look at this and you can say, oh, look, individual error from Archie Gray for 1 goal. The other one, Hudson-Odoi didn't mean it. And the third one is an absolute worldie from Sangaré, who, I don't mean it's disrespect for Nottingham Forest in the 2 European Cups, but I think could make any club in England just about better. That said, they were so bad outside of it.
Yeah.
Take the goals out of this game, finishes 0-0. You still laid a really, really big turd on there. And also this time, they also look so lackadaisical as well. Romero, Kuti, the Warrior, Van de Ven. No, these guys were really, really pushed. Spence. He says there's no quick fix. Yeah. And it's kind of ironic when you're playing a team that are on their 3rd manager of the season and have turned it around with a quick fix. So not good from Thomas.
No.
Juventus make it 5 wins and 6 as Juan Cabal, of all people, gives them 3 points away to Bologna. Jules Spalletti says it's the most important victory since coming to the club.
Yeah, and that might be true, first of all, because Bologna were above them in the table. So you win, you overtake them in the table, because also, Milan drop points, because Napoli drop points ahead of you. Okay, they are a bit clearer than you, but still it was probably the weekend where you had to win. Inter won, so it's not like everything went your way, but pretty much everything else went your way, apart from the Inter result. So helped by the fact that Bologna went down to 10 for the last 25 minutes or so, that Jonathan David was still not very good, but it's a big win.
It's a really big win, I think, for him, and it was important too, coming off a really bad performance against Paphos, not a good one against Napoli either. 2 straight defeats. I thought they played really well against a good opponent.
Sticking with Juventus, Gab, the Agnelli family has turned down an offer from minority shareholders, Tether, that value the club at 1.1 billion euros.
For those who don't know, Tether, they're a cryptocurrency outfit based in El Salvador. They specialize in stablecoin. But they have 11.3% of the club. The weird thing about this is it values the club at 1.1 billion, which you can go and debate, but how vehemently they came out. John Elkann, who normally doesn't get involved, comes out and he's wearing a Juve hoodie rather than normally wears a suit.
Yeah.
And he's standing out in front of the historic bench at the Juve Museum, I think, where the club was actually founded in 18 whatever. He pointed out that it's been in his family for 100 years and the club's not for sale. This felt like a rallying cry. It also leaked that they were unaware that Tether had made this offer.
Right.
That's your minority partner. So I find that a little bit hard to believe. I'm wondering if this whole thing was orchestrated just to give the team a boost and show some pride. Luis Enrique sends out the B team ahead of Paris Saint-Germain's trip to Qatar, and Paris Saint-Germain, and they win 3-2 away to Metz. Jules, nice to see Desiree Doué get a whole 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's good. He came on in the Champions League midweek and was very good in that game at Bilbao. He scored this time when there was forget about rest defense for Metz on that goal.
Well, it's the classic thing, right? Counterattack off an attacking corner, which should never happen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No rest defense at all from Metz point of view in there. Really weird, but hey, good goal from him. Let's hope that he can stay fit now for a bit longer than the last time that he was fit, because that didn't last long. And from a PSG point of view, they conceded 2 goals and they should have done better, although one is a very good finish. But they were already, I think, thinking about the Intercontinental Cup in midweek. And the league, as we know, is not that important for them right now.
Is it still PSG when there's only 3 starters? That is the existential question.
Inter beat Genoa 2-1 to go top of Serie A. Gabi got a bit hairy in the second half, though.
It did, but I'm okay with that because they were 2-0 up and they continued attacking. Ballon d'Or Lautaro again showing the guy plays with so much intensity. The first goal early from Jan Bissek comes because he sprints to keep the ball in play. The second one, man, he goes and he just body checks a defender out of the way, which I absolutely love for a little guy, and then just viciously unloads in the net. They had a couple, they obviously no Çalhanoğlu in midfield. They still made it work. Genoa tough out. I'm good. They deserve to be top of the table. Nick Voltemade own goal gives Sunderland the edge over Newcastle in the Tyne and Wear derby. Jules, Sunderland aren't going away.
Oh man, it's even the Wear and Tyne derby when he's hosted in Sunderland.
Oh really?
Tyne and
They
Wear.
flip it around.
Yeah,
I had
Don
no
Hutchinson
idea.
told me that last week. I didn't know either. First derby in 9 years, or pretty much in 9 years, in the league because they played in the cup in 2024.
And Newcastle housed them, as I
Newcastle
recall.
yeah, and then Sunderland trolled them yesterday with a photo in front of the fans. Obviously, everything you expected from that kind of derby in terms of intensity and physicality. It's just that one team responded better to it. That was Sunderland. Then Newcastle, I was disappointed by their performance overall. And then Voltemade with a great header, but in his own goal. Antoine Griezmann bags the winners. Atletico Madrid beat Valencia 2-1 on Saturday, Gab. Not quite a vintage performance from Atleti, though.
No, and it's more confusion. Valencia are not good. Valencia just chucked out the kids. They have no money. It was interesting because the other goal in this game came from Coquet. And this was the season you would have thought that Coquet and Griezmann were going to slightly fade out of the picture, right? Instead, you need them to kind of stay in touch with the top four in a game like this. Griezmann's goal.
Oh, the first touch is incredible.
Timing and touch. That doesn't go away with age.
No.
I think Cholo has a lot to go and think about if he takes a break this Christmas. And first of all, what's wrong with Julian Alvarez? Because he's disappearing. Joe Bellingham gets sent off and Borussia Dortmund have to play man down for nearly the entire second half. But they hang on for a 1-1 draw at Freiburg. As Lucas Höhler scores a worldie. We saw some great goals this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't going to be number one, and you'll see why later, for me at least. But that was
really good. And Freiburg were very good in that second half with 11 men, obviously, against 10. And Dortmund were good, I thought, in the first half, 11 against 11. Girassi looked sharp. We know there's a bit of a tension with Kovac on when he plays and doesn't play, etc., etc. I thought he did well. I guess you're happy because you got a point with 10 men for 50 minutes or so. But again, you were in the lead and you got pegged back. And I don't think that's good enough from them.
Oh, you're going to be mean to Uncle Nico
No,
again.
I'm just saying,
And you didn't celebrate. I thought you were going to celebrate Höhler's goal more.
No, it's a great overhead kick. I love
Flick
it.
and then come on.
Yeah,
man,
no, it's good. It's really good.
I love it when
him.
no
His
names
age
score
as
goals
well.
like that.
Good.
He's 32, yeah.
Milan lose top spot in Serie A. They're held at home by Sassuolo 2-2. Gab was an Allegri supposed to tie up the defense.
Yeah, this is the stuff that annoys me, right? So he talks about how, our defenders lack the perception of danger. Now, when you concede goals to lesser teams at home, and by the way, this season, Milan have played, they've beaten everybody they've played at home, except for the three promoted sides.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Cremonese, they drew with Pisa, now drew this, right? When you concede goal, when you're a much better team, and you concede goals against a lesser team, it's usually correct me if I'm wrong, it's usually one of these things. It's either transition, or it's a set piece, or it's an individual error, right? There's no real other ways that you're going to concede goals against, or it's somebody shooting from 30 yards out, right?
Yeah.
In this game, both Sassuolo goals come from 1-2s in the box.
Yeah.
When Milan have their whole, to use a basketball term, they have their whole kind of like half-court set out there. They're all standing there. Bro, that's on you. This isn't perception of danger. You know there's danger. You know you're ready. That has got to be frustrating. Davide Bertisaghi scoring 2 goals, both of Milan's goals. Not bad for left back. Let's take it easy on the new Maldini stuff because he's already like about 3 years behind Maldini, even though he's only, I think, 19 years old or 20. This is the stuff. You've had a whole week to prepare for this. You should be working better on this. Mason Greenwood pops up with a late winner to give Marseille the win over Monaco. Jules, I had this on. So I had Real Madrid, obviously, on one screen. I had the Eagles on another screen. I had who's it plays at night? I had the Juve game on another screen. And I had this on the other screen. Every time I looked up, I thought, Monaco are going to score. Monaco are going to score. Maybe I just looked up at the wrong times.
No. I mean, the L'Equipe front page this morning on Monday morning is a miracle at the Velodrome because this win was miraculous from a Marseille point of view. I mean, outside of Greenwood and Rulli made some incredible saves. On Minamino, for example, a couple of times. Greenwood scored another great goal, but through the whole game, he was so dangerous. If you take them out, the rest was so average from a Marseille point of view, whereas Monaco were really good. Flo Balogun played great, scored one goal that was disallowed for an offside that was fair. However, the other goal that Monaco scored from Lamine Camara should have never, in my eyes, should have never been disallowed. It's a similar incident that we had in the Arsenal Wolves game with Saka leading to the corner for the first Arsenal goal. Balogun is in the box but doesn't touch the ball, doesn't interfere at all, and the referee gives offside on him, which I thought was really, really harsh, really unfair. And for Monaco, they deserved at least a point in that game at the Velodrome. They didn't. They're ninth, Marseille are third. Marseille had to win because both PSG and Lens won. So it's good, especially before the winter break. But it was really unfair on Monaco, I thought. Napoli fall out with Udinese, Gab. 2 defeats in 4 days now. Who is Conte blaming now?
Oh, his old friends. Injuries and fatigue.
Fatigue, yeah.
Because, of course, they had to play in midweek away to Benfica. So they're tired. Look, he's right. De Bruyne is not there. Andre Frank Zambonguisa is not there. Billy Gilmore's not there. Labalka's only just coming back. He's got to somehow make it work with McTominay and Elif Elmas in central midfield. Elif Elmas, wonderful player, but not really central midfield. Now, he does have some kids, and who we talk about are supposed to be really good, Vergara and stuff. Maybe play these guys once in a while. Maybe see if they can do something. Rather than just go and put it all on intensity, whatever. I think we need to give credit to Udinese too, because I thought they played really well, and Napoli just looked flat. Like, bro, the reality is you have the bigger squad now, right? And you can't just keep showing Lukaku's not coming through that door, although he'll be back soon. Højlund, by the way, one of his worst performances.
Yeah, nothing to him, nothing for him at all.
Maybe worst performance since he wore the United shirt.
Yeah, maybe.
Bayer Leverkusen beat Cologne 2-0, but Jules, never mind that. Yes. Tell me about Martin Terrier's scorpion kick.
Absolutely. You remember the Olivier Giroud goal for Arsenal against Crystal Palace on that New Year's Day in 2015 or so?
Or the René Higuita save?
But this time the cross comes from the other side than the Giroud goal. If you think the ball at that time came from the left, this time it comes from the right. Behind Terrier, who then hit it with his heel basically over his head into the goal. It's an incredible goal for somebody like him who had so much bad luck with injuries since he joined Bayer Leverkusen from Rennes. He was a wonderful player back in Ligue 1, and then that obviously has stopped massively or slowed down massively his progress and his development. But the goal is a reminder that he's a very talented player.
How old is he now? Can he get back to where?
28 maybe. I need to double check.
Right,
but
it's
a shame. Yeah, but that's a wonderful goal. Gab, more than half the Premier League clubs have gambling sponsors on the front of their shirts this season, but they won't be able to do that from next season.
That's right. They voluntarily decided that, no more gambling sponsorships on the front of the shirts. Although, hey, you can keep your, corporate bookmaker partner, and you can keep the sponsorship on the sleeve.
Yeah.
It's just kind of tacky when you see that, 862 or the other one, Man Bet, which reminded me of Grindr, that some people had. Part of the issue here, and I'm not making fun of these bookmakers, is there's this concept called white label, which is bookmakers conform to certain regulations. A lot of these other bookmakers do not. They market solely to certain countries, not the UK. Right. They do pay a lot more. And and by the way, they get around a lot of advertising restrictions in their home countries, because if I'm on the front of, Team XYZ shirt, and they show the game on television and people can see my logo and they know who I am, and I don't need to spend on advertising. They voluntarily took the step because they probably figured, rightly so, that the government was going to crack down on this. It's a difficult relationship. They have certain clubs, as we know, are in the news now for some links between ownership and betting. I don't know. I know they pay more than traditional sponsors, but by the same token, I think you have to ask, to what degree is this worth it? All this talk of Paris Saint-Germain and Marseille and Monaco, how about instead we hail the Ligue 1 winter champions, our boy Joseph Ogourlian. Not all about the big boys.
Very true, Gav. Lens won again this weekend against Nice 2-0 at the Stade Bollard, which they bought, by the way. It was not their stadium. It was the the city stadium, if you want. I don't know how you say in English.
Municipality stadium.
Yeah, so they bought that. Well done to Joseph for that. It's something that he wanted to do for a very long time. He had, which means you can develop the way you want. The money comes to you, and you don't have to pay rent, for example, to the city. And
by the
stuff
way,
like
that stadium does not look
region.
like a French stadium. It looks like one of those like traditional like English
Yeah,
old school championship stadium.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, where they were not that great, they didn't have to be that great. Nice are in terrible form.
Stop picking on Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah, no, it's true. But Auton-Edouard with 2 goals to keep them at the top. They were under pressure because PSG had won, obviously, the night before. So they are winter champions for the first time in a very long time. And with only the league to play for, really, and I guess the French Cup, but the league to play for in the second half of the season, they're saying, like, hey, why not keeping this for as long as possible? So good for them.
Who has a better chance of winning the league? Lens or Aston Villa? I know you're going to say neither has a good chance, but
No. I think both of them are very much in the title race.
but if you could only back one, Lens.
Yeah, because they don't play in Europe, whereas Villa would go far in the Europa League, obviously. So I think it might be tricky at some point for Villa to play in all those competitions, whereas for Lens, it's just the league, basically. Time for some madness, Gab. Lazio go down to 9 men against Parma and still manage to score and win 1-0.
So yeah, it's pretty remarkable. They say playing 10v9 is difficult. Okay, fine. Or sorry, 11v10 is difficult.
Yeah.
Playing 11v9 should not be difficult at all because it literally means that somebody is always open, right? Your goalkeeper's in goal. And yet they get caught in transition, they fall asleep, and Noslin scoring the goal. Now, here's the fun fact for you. I don't know, have you seen this before? A team
No, never.
9 against 11?
9 against 11 and scoring.
Okay, you know who has seen it before?
Tell me.
And who has been a part of it for Alessio Romagnoli,
Okay.
played for Lazio in this game.
Yeah.
And he played the only other time it's ever happened in Serie A. Back in 2017, he was playing for Milan when Milan, then coached by Vincenzo Montella,
Wow.
came back and did the same thing, 9v11. Keep hope alive.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, more madness, Jules.
Yeah.
7 goals, 4 red cards. Auxerre against Lille was something else.
Yeah, it was Auxerre's anniversary, 120 years of existence for the club. And it was a great occasion. To be fair, it was a cruel defeat for them. They lost 4-3 in this crazy, crazy game. And they probably deserved better than that really heartbreaking defeat. But it was just everything that you could have seen. 2 red cards at the set for players like fighting with each other. So first 2 reds, 1 for each team. At the same time, goals galore from 1-0 to Lille, then 1-1, then 2-1, then 2-2, then 3-2 for Lille, 3-3, then Lille scored 4-3. It was just incredible. The third and fourth red cards coming late in the second half. It was just 2 penalties, just incredible stuff.
I know Giroud was watching from wherever he is right now.
Yes.
Probably high above us. I wonder if that little rain that came down, I wonder if that was just a little tear trickling down his cheek.
Let's talk World Cup now. Footballer Supporters Europe says that fans are being betrayed by high prices, but this one is a bit different, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, like, when do football supporters organizations ever say, yeah, these prices are fair, we like them? No, wait, they're too low. But I think this offers some insight because we hear a lot about it, dynamic pricing, fans being ripped off, blah, blah, blah. This is different because at every World Cup game, 16% of the tickets are split between the 2 teams. So they're not being sold via the lottery or via FIFA.com. You get them from your own national association. And those are the fans, by the way. If you ever wonder, like at a World Cup, why isn't it, a bunch of Qatari, well, not Qatari in the case of Qatar, but why are there fans from these countries actually there in Qatar or whatever? It's not that they go and buy the tickets randomly. They get the tickets from the federation because those 8%, those are the guys you generally see behind the goals where they're more visible on television, they're more colorful. So obviously these are rank and file supporters. They're people who follow their teams everywhere, and they're supposed to get subsidized tickets. Well, we don't know what some of the major federations are going to, and their major federations say, well, they're not making any money off this. They're passing on whatever they get them from FIFA 4, they're passing them on. But Croatia's leaked, and the cheapest ticket to watch Croatia, if you get your ticket via the Croatian FA, is $265, and that's for Cat 3, going up to $500 or $700. Now, I don't want to be moralistic about it, but the fans who are behind the goal, who add color to the game, this is what makes the World Cup.
Yeah.
We should go out of our way to make sure that they're there, that they're bringing the color and they're bringing the atmosphere. I'm easier on dynamic pricing because I know that in the end, it's FIFA keeps saying, well, but all the cost of the tickets, blah, 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 ends up going to the 211 member federations. I accept that. And I accept the fact that most people who go to a World Cup are very wealthy people. And that's fine. I get that. However, in this case, that 8%, FIFA should take another look at this. They should go out of their way to make sure that these people, these are the people who buy tickets to watch the national team. These are the people who travel away with the national team. Vast majority of these people come from countries where the cost of living is much, much lower than the US. It's already expensive for them to be there.
Yeah.
For you to then gouge them $265 for Cat 3 ticket, when they are the reason people, and it's such a big TV spectacle and whatever, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I would expect the federations to band together and say, no, we want our fans there. It's only 8% of the tickets or 16% in total for each game. Let's negotiate a better deal, because I agree. I agree with football supporters this time.
Yeah.
They are being betrayed on this point. Estudiantes are champions of Argentina, Jules, and they did it in the most dramatic fashion. Last-ditch equalizer, followed by penalties. And that injury time equalizer, by the way, coming from a familiar face.
Exactly, yeah. Guido Carrillo, who used to play for Monaco, won the title, obviously, that incredible season when they went far in the Champions League as well with Falcao, and a very young Kylian Mbappe scoring in the 91st or 92nd minutes to come back 1-1 away at Racing.
By the way, in case you weren't listening to Jules, a very young Kylian Mbappe. You're talking about what, 6-7 years ago. You're not talking about the time they went further in the Champions League, because that was in 2004. Guido Carrillo's old, but he's not that old.
No. That was 10 years ago. He's 33, so
Yeah,
Carrillo was 23. Kylian was 17.
But that's when they reached the semifinal, if I remember, right?
Yeah, and they won the title in 2016-17. So yeah, that long ago, but he's still there. The goalkeeper for Estudiantes, Muslera, obviously the former Galatasaray and Uruguay international, who saved the penalty in the shootout. Now they play. So this was the Clausura tournament, if you want, and they will play against Platense to be the super champions on December 20th, because you can be super champions in Argentina. But they haven't won a title for a very long time. So well done, Estudiantes, and Juan Sebastian Veron, of course, who is the president of the club.
And I wonder, though, will they then go and play, is it Rosario, who won the other Fugazi thing that
that didn't want to do the
Yeah,
Guard of
exactly.
Honor for. Exactly. Talking about finals, there was obviously the Liga MX final between Tigres and Toluca with André Pierre Gignac that also finished in dramatic fashion on penalty, etc. And Toluca won that after the second leg on last night. It was so well done to both Toluca and Estudiantes for the titles.
I feel Gignac went to Mexico like 10 years ago.
I know.
Has it,
40 is now. He's won 5 titles. It would have been his 6th title.
how old is he
He
now?
scored 40. He scored the first goal. It's a deflected free kick that goes in. Toluca, who I think have been the better team anyway, better than Tigre overall the season, not just in this game or even over the 2 legs. But yeah, it was very tense, as you would expect, obviously.
And I assume he's still gigantic and one-footed.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. My boys, PSG face Flamengo in the Intercontinental Cup on Wednesday night in Qatar. Gab, remind everybody why they're getting another chance to call themselves world champions.
What, since they screwed up the last one against Chelsea?
We'll let Chelsea win.
Yeah, so this is going to seem weird to people, and this is the reason all those guys were arrested. Luis Enrique cares about these trophies. So basically, FIFA had signed a longer-term contract for this competition, which was the Club World Cup until very recently, where you get the winner of the continental champion or continental title in each confederation. And they, many years ago, they used to go to Japan, and they've been going to the Gulf since. The thing is, FIFA have a contract with these people, and there's stadiums there that they need to fill. So FIFA decided, no, let's have a Club World Cup in the summer in the US. It's going to be great. Oh, what do we do about this other thing, which we also call Club World Cup? I don't know. Let's rename it Intercontinental Cup. since we can't scrap it because we have a contract. And it's where we get to give out more trophies, more bling. And that's essentially what it becomes, because you have a playoff between two of the kind of crummy teams. And then well, first of all, the European winner only plays one game, the final, which is what they're going to play against Flamengo. But then I find this fascinating. You have the CONCACAF champion against a CONMEBOL champion. They win the Derby of the Americas Cup. You have the African Asian Pacific Cup, because just in case Auckland managed to beat somebody, they don't. They lost 3-0, I think, to Al Ahly or Pyramids. Anyway, Pyramids beat Al Ahly 3-1. Pyramids, of course, as the name implies, are from Egypt. Where else? Where else with Pyramids? Well, I suppose it could be from Mexico. But yeah. And then that sets up the Challenger Cup between Flamengo and Pyramids. Flamengo beating Pyramids there. And so Flamengo finally reaching the final against the Intercontinental Cup. You better not screw this up, given everybody's well rested.
I know, I agree.
Vin Diesel says he's written Cristiano Ronaldo into the next Fast and Furious movie. Jules, are you excited?
I am, Gabby. I mean, I'm not a big fan, I won't lie, of the franchise of Fast and Furious.
And the various spin-offs, too?
Yeah, what number are we on? Like 15
11.
or something?
11.
Okay, 11.
Not counting the spin-offs.
Is Cristiano a baddie or goodie, do you think? Will it be? Will it be like...
I don't know. He hasn't told us.
No, I know, right? Well, let's see.
I don't think he makes a good villain on film.
No,
I think he's got to be one of the good guys.
Yeah.
But it's going to be called Fast Forever.
Fast Forever.
So not him.
Ugly scenes in Kolkata, Gab, as angry fans stormed the pitch for Lionel Messi's tour of India.
So this is really weird for anybody who has, I think, a normal conception of sports and superstars. I should say normal, but a conception that I share. I think that most people, certainly in the West, share. Lionel Messi and Cristiano in South Asia, obviously they're very popular everywhere, but in South Asia, there's an element of celebrity and obsession to them that goes far beyond anything you might see in the Americas or in Europe or even in Africa. We saw this when we were in Doha for the Club World Cup, where there's a lot of South Asian, or for the World Cup rather, there's a lot of South Asian people. So his people decide, go on a tour of Asia where people sell tickets to go and essentially watch you walk around the pitch for 20 minutes waving. In Kolkata, they also unveiled this weird-looking 70-foot statue to Messi. So he went and he did that. But the problem was there were so many other celebrities, actors, politicians, hangers-on, and Messi's kind of a little fella, that a lot of people couldn't even see him. They knew he was there somewhere in the middle of this group of people. And some of them had paid a lot of money to be there. And they got angry, and it led to a riot. It's horrible. It's obviously not Messi's fault. People came out and said, we fulfilled their contractual obligations. Fine. Maybe do a bit of research, though, beforehand, because nobody's blaming Messi. However, it led to this situation, which is undoubtedly, I think it would have been traumatic for Messi himself. So let's hope. I think he's got a couple more stops scheduled on the tour. Yes. Let's hope that they do this in a slightly better way. If you're some Bollywood actor who I'm sure is just as famous back home as Lionel Messi and you want to hang out with him, that's fine. You don't walk around the pitch with them. Just leave the stage. They're there to see him, not you. Yeah. Jules, this brings us to an end.
Oh.
Well, we got to come back on Thursday because we got League Cup action. We got Copa del Rey. Turn the spotlight to those beloved midweek cup competitions I enjoy so much. Until then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.